The RE4 Remake DLC just got a brand new trailer, and I did not think that Capcom was going to reveal that much, considering that the game is only a few days away left from release. Today, I'm going to be breaking down this trailer and going over everything that you might have missed. I'm going to talk about some theories and some predictions about this DLC, and I'm going to give my overall thoughts on what I thought about the trailer. There is a lot to unpack today, so let's get to it. If you want to stay up to date on all Resident Evil news, then consider subscribing. So the trailer starts off with this shot right here. Now, the first thing that this reminded me of was this area from the original game. For those that don't remember, this was basically like this little sand, I don't know what, an underground mine area, and this was completely scrapped in the remake. The only thing that they kept was the minecart ride. So I wonder if they're bringing that area back, but they're actually going to make it much more like the original game. But this could also be an entirely new area altogether. Over these first few seconds of gameplay, we also hear Luis talking about how much he really cares about Leon and Ashley, because even though obtaining the amber is his first priority, but Leon and Ashley are his other priority because he knows they are infected. And so hearing Luis tell Ada that, yeah, the amber is important, but Leon and Ashley are also important because they're infected, I think it adds a lot more character development to his character, and it really shows that, you know, Luis isn't a bad guy. He might be working under other people, but he also really cares about Leon and Ashley. But then we transition to a shot that we've seen before where Ada is shooting herself across the map, and then we see the hand of, yeah, you guessed it, Vertigo. In the base game, just like the original, you only have to fight one of these guys, but a lot of people have been wondering whatever happened to the second one, because unlike the original where Salazar fuses himself with the other Vertigo, in the remake they didn't do that. So people were wondering whatever happened to that second Vertigo. Did he just disappear? And a lot of people speculated where maybe Capcom can bring him back in the DLC, and here we are. We then see a shot of Ada and Luis walking through the castle, so at least we know that they are going to be together during some parts of this DLC. And then we get to see some gameplay in action, which is really cool. I'm gonna be honest, I can't say I'm too surprised, because remember that Ada's animations and even Wesker's animations got leaked months ago, so we already knew what Ada and Wesker's moves were gonna look like, but it's cool to see it officially now. We also see a shot of Luis and Ada just standing there. Luis for some reason has a rope tied around him. I don't know if Ada put this around him or if he did, and maybe somebody triggered the trap, but I feel like the point of this scene was to show that yes, we are getting some humor in this DLC, so it's not going to be all that serious. We also see some different shots of the castle, like this one right here, and we also get some more Ada gameplay. And as I said in my previous video, you can see that her grappling hook is going to play a much bigger role in this DLC. But now you can pull shields from Ganados? Okay, now that's pretty cool.
Sorry, what kind of a man leaves a lady?
Sorry, Luis.
But if we take a look at this shot here, I mean, I don't remember this area in the original game. Sorry, the remake, not the original RE4, but the remake. And this was one of my biggest worries about this DLC, because unlike the original Separate Ways, which was basically just an asset flip, I mean, that DLC really didn't do too much. And even though I love the original Separate Ways, you were basically doing the same thing and going through the same areas just like you did with Leon. So I'm glad Capcom is taking more risk with this DLC, and we're actually going to visit new parts of the castle, new parts of the village, and I'm glad her combat is actually going to be different. I'm hoping that means that Capcom is taking a bigger risk here, where the combat is going to be a lot more fast-paced. We could also see Ada's original pump shotgun make a return, which to a lot of people might not seem like a big deal, but I'm really excited. It really is just the small details that mean the most, you know? But if you look here, look at Ada's shotgun. I mean, look at the Ganado in the back. He's not even within range. I mean, it's a shotgun, so the pellets should spread, but I mean, he gets knocked all the way back from one shotgun blast. So it seems like, unlike the original game, Ada's shotgun is going to be heavily buffed in this remake. So there's also this shot right here where all of these Ganados are charging into this room. Now maybe I'm looking too much into this, and maybe this is just here just to be here, but you can actually see the merchant's flame right there, right under the Ganado's arm. So I wonder if the merchant is going to make a return in this DLC. We then transition to this shot right here where we could see Ada use her bowgun in action. And is it just me, or does it seem like Capcom is buffing all of her weapons? Her shotgun's overpowered, her bowgun's overpowered, and I know it's a small detail, but I really like how there's a laser sight on the bowgun. That's one thing that sucks about the remake, is how not every gun had a laser sight, unlike the original game where pretty much every gun had a laser sight. And then immediately after, we hear Wesker say,
"Stop wasting my time, Ada. Just get it done."
But more on Wesker a little bit later in the trailer. We then see Ada doing some Batman Arkham style combat, which as a Batman Arkham fan makes me really happy as well. And then immediately after, the gondola ride that was cut from the remake makes a return in the DLC. This was one of my favorite areas in the original game, and the fact that it was cut from the remake was kind of a bummer, and I'm so happy that Capcom decided to bring it back. We also get this shot right here where Ada has to fight another Garrador, but if you look closely, you can see that Ada is of course holding her knife, and it looks like it got a little bit of a redesign. We then see some gameplay of Ada taking on some more knights. It looks like we're going to be visiting new parts of the castle that we didn't get to visit in Leon's campaign. I know it's obvious, but it really does make me happy that they're not just like reusing old areas, and they're actually going to be adding new content to the game. It really justifies the $10 price tag. But I mean, just look at her gameplay right here. It looks absolutely insane. We then cut to one of the most exciting parts about this entire trailer, but we get a glimpse of the second Vertigo. We then get an immediate shot of Ada hallucinating, or at least experiencing the side effects of being infected. But if you look closely in the background, you can see a merchant request. So I wonder if this confirms that the merchant is returning. We then get a shot of Vertigo mutating slowly into U3, and it seems like he's going to be a mini boss at first. So we could see something burning. Now at first glance, I thought maybe this was the barn, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And Luis seems worried, as if there's something in there that he needed to grab, or if he's worried that maybe Leon or Ashley got hurt. Either way, there seems to be something that Luis is urgent about. We then see some gameplay of Ada taking on an El Gigante, and then we get one of the most exciting parts about this trailer. I feel like I keep saying that because this trailer just gets better and better, but the laser room is back. I'm so glad that the laser room is back, because even though a lot of people think it's goofy, it's one of the most iconic parts about the original RE4, and I don't think anybody can deny that. But when you really think about it, the laser room makes a lot more sense for Ada, because she's more flexible and she's more of that type of character to start doing backflips and those random moves. So I'm glad that Ada is the one that actually has to go through this laser room. We also get some more Wesker dialogue, and it sounds like Wesker and Ada are going to have a very interesting relationship.
Oh, Ada. What to do with you?
We can see Ada riding the jet ski, which I assume she brings to the island before she blows it up. And then we get some quick one-off shots, like Luis handing Ada the amber, Ada getting infected, and for some reason, there's this weird purple effect. So again, I wonder if hallucinations are gonna play a part in the gameplay, or if it's just a cutscene thing. We then see Ada grappling to the top of the mines. I'm gonna predict maybe in this area is where we fight U3. Hopefully they bring the original like crate section back, because that was one of my favorite parts about fighting U3. I really hope that's not cut, but I wouldn't be too mad if they did cut it out. We then see Ada fighting Vertigo, and as I said, it seems like throughout the DLC, he's gonna eventually mutate into the U3 that we know. And then we see this shot of Ashley. Maybe this is the first time that we get to see Ada and Ashley interact with each other. And then we get this extremely creepy shot of Vertigo putting his hand out. And this is very much obviously hinting that he is going to turn into U3. I'm really excited to see what U3's design is going to look like in the remake. And I think this is such a cool concept where you have this enemy that was in the original, except this time Capcom is making it to where he's evolving into a much more dangerous and bigger enemy. We then get another shot of Ada being infected, Sadler and Ada confronting each other, and then at the very end of the trailer, we hear Wesker say this.
Whose blood are you here for this time?
That all depends on you.
But considering the fact that Capcom has been hinting at an RE5 remake, it would make sense for them to maybe leave on a cliffhanger at the end of the DLC where Wesker takes the sample and that's when he goes off to create Ouroboros. But we only have a couple more days to find out. The DLC is dropping on September 21st and will cost $9.99 USD. I'm super excited for this DLC, but now I want to hear your thoughts. Are you guys excited for this DLC, and what are your predictions? Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all Resident Evil news. Be sure to leave a like on this video, and with that being said, I will catch all of you in the next one.